Minister, as you know, in 2017, the Home Relocation Scheme, the second such relocation scheme that I secured to take families out of homes where there was no solution to address their particular flooding problem, was introduced. But there are a number of families who failed to avail of that scheme at the time, even though they were eligible, and I believe that they shouldn't be excluded.
Thanks very much, Lascion Corlett. The voluntary homeowners relocation scheme was introduced by the government in 2017 to introduce a very serious flooding of those properties that were flooded in the winters of 2015 and 2016, including those properties flooded by turloughs. To be eligible for assistance under this once-off scheme, a homeowner had to meet a number of conditions, including the floodwater entered and damaged a building during or as a result of flooding during relevant dates, such as to render it uninhabitable, and that there had to be no viable engineering solution that could protect the property from future flooding. Under this national scheme, 174 potential eligible properties were identified to the Office of Public Works in two ways, either by local authorities or through direct expressions of interest from homeowners. At all times, participation in the scheme has been voluntary for homeowners. Through follow-up meetings with homeowners and at both desktop-based and engineering assessment, approximately half of those homeowners either were not interested in engaging with the scheme or did not meet the scheme's criteria. Some homeowners identified as being potentially eligible will benefit from engineering solutions that will protect their homes from future flooding. The Office of Public Works and local authorities identified 33 homeowners who would otherwise be eligible for relocation, who will benefit from inclusion in the planned flood relief schemes and minor works projects. In addition to these projects, an important element of the administrative arrangements of the relocation scheme was established of a unique and once-off scheme of remedial works for identified engineering solutions for eligible homes for which there is no other funding source. To date, remedial works have been identified to protect some 19 homes for future flooding, and work is continuing to explore the possible engineering solutions to a further 3 houses. Where an engineering solution is not feasible based on best available information at the time of each decision, the Office of Public Works offers financial assistance towards relocation to a replacement dwelling equivalent to the cost relevant local authority on a like-for-like basis. To date, 29 homeowners have received formal offers of financial assistance for relocation, with a further 2 applications being considered. 13 homeowners have now completed the process at a cost of £3.22 million, which has enabled them to relocate and purchase or build a replacement dwelling house under the scheme.
Minister, look, I thank you for your information in relation to it, but I have 3 families, 2 of whom live within the catchment of Loughree. We're never going to be able to hold that back, no matter what remedial measures take place. But those 2 families naively believed that the government announcements after the 2016 flood regarding water management measures would address their problem. They didn't want to leave their homes. They didn't apply at that time, and they were again marooned in the year 2000, both families. The third case was a case that was brought to the attention of the Environment section of Roscommon County Council, but never reported to the area office and was never included on any list. And in that case, that particular family has 3 turloughs actually converging on the site of their home. And I believe if they were flooded in 2016, they should be considered for relocation.
Well, as Lascion Corlett, as the Deputy will appreciate, there's a long-standing precedent in the House that I can't comment on individual cases in the House because I don't have the details. But if the Deputy wants to furnish them to me, I can have them looked at by the Office of Public Works and the relevant officials in the department.
Minister, I have brought it to the attention of the Chief Commissioner of the Office of Public Works. Have engaged directly with him in relation to that and the local authority, but I will take up your offer and provide you with the details. Can I also ask you, Minister, in terms of relocation, while we successfully secured the home relocation scheme, as you know, there was also a second scheme, and that was for a farmyard relocation. Now, I know it doesn't come directly under your remit, but I do know that it is something that you have an interest in, and if you could provide the House with an update on any progress that has been made regarding that. The second thing is, Minister, you talked about the pilot individual flood prevention measures that have taken place on a number of homes. Is there any intention to roll that out further, other than this particular cohort of families, now that we have learnings in relation to that scheme?
Yeah, well, my two immediate predecessors who would have worked on the development and the design of this scheme, former ministers Kenny and Moran, the Office of Public Works would always hold it in our arsenal that if there is a need for us to go back to government with a requirement for a similar ask for relocation on a case-by-case basis, well then that's something that the Office of Public Works, together with the relevant local authority, will always seek to be able to do based on the learnings that we have gleaned. In relation to farmyard relocation schemes, it is a matter for the Department of Agriculture, as you quite rightly say, and I have had bilateral meetings with my colleague, the Minister for Agriculture, on this issue, specifically around the area of the Shannon, and I've also raised it directly with Minister Pippa Hackett, because there are farmyards for which there is no viable option other than a relocation, and I think the farm representatives have raised that issue as well, and I know the Minister for Agriculture and his officials are working to that.